Start things off in the association, Bamba mentality as Bam Adebayo goes ballistic, dropping 83 points on the Washington Wizards, setting the new almost record / right behind Wilt record, however you want to look at it, before the most points in a game, doing it on 43 free throw attempts and I believe 7 made threes, setting himself in a category all his own. He'll never be out of that record book. And before we get too deep into the nitty gritty, good for him. That's pretty dope. I mean, no one can ever take that away from you. That's pretty cool. We'll talk about how you got there in a moment, but that's a pretty cool thing for you to do. It's like when Matt Schaub threw for 527 yards a game. It's like, wait, what? You had like triple check on that one, but it's still cool. It's still going to sit there, and it did up his season points per game from I think just around 18 to now he's at a clean even 20. So if there's incentives to be hit for 20 points a game, that helps him out a lot.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, look, everybody's going to have that one output, right? We see it every year. We have it does surprise me, though, that it was Bam out of all people, because when it comes to scoring, let's just say he's not the most gifted scorer. And, I know this is going to come up, so I'm going to go ahead and break the Band-Aid on this one. It was ugly. Under 50% shooting on the night. And that's not easy to do. It's the first ever 70-plus point game under 50% shooting, which is an incredible thing in its own right. But yeah, I mean, look, you still scored 83. Nobody can take that away from you. That's something that will be in the record books for a long time. And there's evidence of it. So, you can't get claimed to be a fraud. So potentially you are the highest point scoring player of all time with evidence. And yeah, that's, I guess, something to hang your hat on. And from the standpoint of, hey, USA basketball, that sounds great. But yeah, it's against the Wizards, so let's calm down a little bit, just a little smidge.
Yeah, that's one thing that I thought was very interesting about the whole thing is he did it against the Wizards, which we know by NBA standards not the best team they could really go against, but it still counts. That's still an NBA team, so still going to give them credit for that as it is. But you mentioned under 50% shooting, 7 3-pointers, 36 made free throws, which is astronomical to think about. Like that's just the fact that he got so many. If imagine 36 free throws a game would lead the NBA in scoring right now if someone averaged that for a game, which is just absolutely insane. Well, I'm going to bring this up too. We're going to look at some of the more recent asinine outbursts of points in recent years, just since 2000. So not diving too deep into the well here, but obviously Bam at the top. We all know about Kobe's 81. Luka not that long ago when he gave you 73 with 10 rebounds and 7 assists. Dame Lillard 71 against the Rockets, if I'm not mistaken. This was 13 3-pointers. But stood out. Donovan Mitchell against the Bulls with 11 assists on top of it. And then, of course, Joel Embiid, who had his 70, and he did that in 3 quarters. He sat afterwards. So that's what I think is very interesting when we look at some of those more recent outbursts. Devin Booker's as well. We remember that. I think it was one of them that's in a loss too. So as we look and compare these and dive deeper into the numbers and get really nerdy about it, it's still wildly impressive scoring 83 points. But I'm comparing it to Kobe's where they were down double digits in the second half and actually only up by 5 in the fourth quarter, I believe, or maybe they were down by 5 in a game where you needed all 81 of them. You needed every ounce of it. Luka's game against Atlanta, Dame Lillard's against Chicago, Donovan Mitchell's, Joel Embiid's in 3 quarters. They were up 35 in the fourth quarter against the Wizards. They were intentionally missing free throws and intentionally fouling to make it happen. You have 31 points in the first quarter. That's absolutely incredible. 43 at halftime. Like this, I'm not even trying to shortchange the bag. It was purely for this. But that fourth quarter, Lord have mercy. That was kind of ugly, especially down the stretch. That got, I don't want to say heinous. But it was a little bit short of basketball in many senses. Definitely left a lot to be desired. So I'm trying to not be like disrespectful to, but I was like, look, the other ones, I like what Donovan Mitchell did against the Bulls a little bit more. I like what Joel Embiid did in 3 quarters. We know what Kobe did. We know what Luka did, especially tacking on the rebounds with that. Dame Lillard shooting all those threes and make it. So it's impressive, but at the same time, that just the way that ended to get there, it's like, well, damn. And people remember. Like, it's weird because it's such a unique circumstance. I compare it to Michael Strahan breaking the sack record. When everyone always talks about how Brett Favre fell over and gave it to him. It's one of those things that did withstand the test of time. It's not one where you look back on and forget about it. One's a very unique set of circumstances like that. So I'm worried that's going to take a little bit away from it. But at the same time, that was ugly. Like, I don't think you do that in 2K if you're trying to stat pad for your My Player. That's pretty tough to do with the amount of intentional and just unique tomfoolery they were doing down the stretch.
Yeah, I think more importantly here, the Wizards, and this is the most impressive thing to me, the Wizards had nobody foul out. They had 3 guys with 5 fouls, but they had no player foul out. I've never seen a player shoot this many free throws and nobody on the opposing team foul out. That's one thing. But 2, I mean, I gotta give Bam credit in his own right, because 36 of 43 from the free throw line is insane.
Better than his average.
We were talking about when Hack-a-Shaq was a thing, as if Shaq just hits 50% of his free throws, he's got 20 points. Okay. Well, Bam took that Hack-a-Shaq mentality, because that's really what it seemed like it was the Wizards were doing at this point in time, that he was like, you know what? Let me just shoot like 90% from the free throw line, which is crazy. 83.7. Sorry. My bad. But that's an insane statistic for him that he got there the hard way. Like, this is like the hardest possible way you can get to 83 points is from the free throw line. And everybody's like, oh, but free throw lines are free. Yeah, tell that to LeBron. Tell that to any great player, because on average, they usually shoot about 85% from the free throw line. And yes, looking at the statistic, 90%, 93%, 100% from the free throw line for Dame. Those are outliers in the grand scheme of greatness. If you look at their career statistics, they're about an 85% free throw shooter or below in most cases, other than Dame. Yes, I know.
Say, hold on now. That man's sitting at like 91% career.
Other than Dame. But the all-time free throw record's like 94%. So let's, it's an incredible thing, especially for a center to be doing it. I think that deserves its own credit in its own right. But also, I'm just going to point out you're a center and you got less than 10 rebounds.
Yeah, they kind of need a little bit more than that. They definitely could have.
And we're going to go one step further. You gave 129 points to the Wizards.
Yeah, they were willing to give up 129 because they needed Bam to get 83. That was another thing, too. Like, it was definitely not naturally in the flow of the game down the stretch, which is what I think really took away from it.
Yeah, but no, I mean, just truly just looking at the game overall, I got to give Bam credit where credit's due. Like, you can't. Yes, you scored 83. You were the most unstoppable player on the court. Yes, your team helps you, which is a great game planning if you're Erik Spoelstra. Congratulations. You took the weak link of the Wizards, which they're already a weak link, and you made their weakest link, which is the power forward center role, look like children. And you took Bam and made him look great, and he's now in the all-time record book. And I think that's something for just coaching-wise. Like, we're going to look at this and we're going to psychoanalyze this to hell and back. But if you just look at the standpoint from a coach, you did the simplest thing. Get it to my big man who is he outmatches every other big man on the court and score. That's it. That's all he did. Like, if they're going to foul him and he's going to make his free throws, keep riding the hot hand. That's all he did. It was the simplest basketball in the world. Give the ball to the guy who's hot and let's see what happens. And sometimes you need to see that in the NBA just so, it's understood around coaching and players all around. But yeah, I mean, this doesn't do any defense to the whole NBA is rigged conversation. I'll say that much.
I will say, if they stopped right there, that would have been just fine. Like, when you have a chance to go get a record, go get it. I totally understand that. Intentionally fouling the Wizards players to stop the clock when you're up by 1 billion in the fourth quarter, and then missing free throws on purpose to try and get the offensive rebounds. Like, okay, you're not really fooling anybody now. Like, this is you're pushing a little bit. This is some stuff we do on 2K when we're trying to stat pad to get more XP. Like, let's take it easy with that a little bit. It's a little bit outrageous, but at the end of the day, 83 is 83, as you mentioned. That you should not have been shooting all those free throws, but you made that many of them. You can't take that away from him.
Hey.
So it's
nothing you can do about that. And by the way, he did hit 7 threes in the game, and I think that's worth mentioning. Like, he's a center.
The problem I have with that is the
21
he took. Yeah, like I know he's listed as a center, but he's like a 6'7.5" center. He's like Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Like, he plays it. He's a stretch center for ball handler. He's just a hybrid.
Yeah, but look, at this point in time, I'm going to be honest. I hate the NBA for the fact that they let teams just completely pass seasons off. And this is a perfect example of the Wizards just saying, we don't really want to play. And the Heat being like, well, if you're not going to play, we're going to go get our stats. And they went and got their stats. And like, so I'm going to say this, that if NBA, if you don't want to see an abysmal 83-point game again, then maybe penalize teams who are going to sell in a season. Just penalize them. Let's see what happens. Maybe golden draft pick, where the top 10 teams enter their own tournament at the end of the year, and the winner of that gets themselves the top draft pick. Maybe that's the case you decide to pull, but whatever the case is, this is just an example of how the NBA has let the bottom feeders continue to be bottom feeders and make billions of dollars and then the top teams can just do whatever they want against the bottom feeders. And that's like not taking anything away from Bam, but I'm just gonna say, like, I think that needs to be said that Spoelstra did exactly what Spoelstra should do as the coach of the Heat and just took advantage of a weak team and got his players some stats.
Yeah, it was not going to take away from if we're going to rank from that list that we saw. I'm not going to put Bam at number one if we're going to power rank it, which is purely subjective. So, like, that's to each their own on that one. But I would.
But then again, I don't rank Wilt 100 above anything else.
I'm not counting that one because there's still no evidence of it actually happening.
Exactly.
So I'd say that partially jokingly, but like compared to the ones we just looked at in just the modern era, where there is visual evidence of it, I'm saying it's impressive. I'm just saying I look at Dame shooting 100% from the free throw line and 60% from three and getting that. Donovan Mitchell, when they nearly went to overtime in that game, if I'm not mistaken, Luka dipping in 10 rebounds as well. Some of those stand out. And then Kobe's where they literally needed every single one. And he forever bullied Jalen Rose, which will live forever in infamy, which is hilarious to me in its own right. But let us know down below what you all think of Bam's game. Are we being a little harsh on him or are we not being harsh enough? Let us know down below. But